Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to another edition of Russ Can Fly, but actually, I can't fly. Wah, 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 wah. So this video is like going to be a little different. And yes, it's a bummer I can't fly today. And you might be saying, but look at the weather, it's gorgeous. Yeah, well, I can't fly today because the plane is going through its 100-hour maintenance inspection. And I'd rather it be in a hangar getting serviced and making sure I am safe rather than just flying and not being safe. So no flying today. And so even though I can't fly today, I am so excited about this video because it is based exactly on the reason for this channel, period. So shout out to my newest subscriber, Mike Alpha Sierra. I'm gonna just call it Mass for short, or Mike Alpha Sierra. So thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, and thank you for your video suggestion. This video is specifically for you and based on your suggestion. So we're gonna go over to the airplane and I'm gonna show you exactly what it is that I do. How I get my audio through my headsets, my camera setup, the whole 9 yards. So, but I just wanted to thank you for subscribing to the channel, of course, and for your video suggestion, because that's the reason why I'm doing what I do. All right. And if you have any other questions after I finish this video, definitely hit me up, send a comment down below. All right. So let's go over to the airplane. Let me show you how I do the audio and video for all of my training lessons. Let's get it. Okay, so I thought the best way to kind of go through this part of the video was to actually come out to an airplane. Now, luckily, it's kind of like marginal VFR, and actually this plane is going to be flying with somebody else. So, but I have access to it right now. So I thought the best thing is to show how to do the video and audio in the actual airplane. So we're going to go into 717 Golf, and I'll show you how this gets set up. Okay, so first things first, normally when you do your headsets, and this is my headset here, you basically have these two prongs basically, and it's like this, I just call it big and little, fat and skinny. And of course, normally what you would do is, unfortunately, you can't really see, I don't know if I can get underneath there, but see, that's where the actual headset gets plugged into. And so normally what you would do is you would take this plug, the big one, plug it into, is that the fat one? Oh, that's the skin, that's the fat one. And then you would take the skinny one and plug it underneath there. And so normally that's the normal setup, okay? Now, when you have an audio cord, it's gonna be the same thing. It's just that you're gonna have an audio cord that you're gonna plug this one into first. And I'll show you what this cord looks like and who I got it from. Okay, so this is the actual audio cord that I use. And I got this from inflightcam.com. inflightcam, one word.com. And I actually bought a kit, and I'll show you some of the other things that came with the kit. And it actually came in this case. But I wanted to do the audio stuff first before we got into the cameras. And so in order to get your audio, you need to have a cord that will go into your headset. And so this is the cord that I use. And so as you can see, it has one fat cord that goes underneath here like so, but it doesn't have the smaller one. And then the other part of the cord, it has this receptor. So you're gonna see that's where the fat part, the fat plug, I'm sure it's like a 3.5 millimeter or something like that. I don't know all that kind of stuff. All I know is there's this fat one that gets substituted for the fat one from your headset. And then this is going to go into your camera. So I'll show you exactly how that works. All right. So you take your, so this is my headset, and of course this is my noise canceling. And if you're new, you don't have to spend a lot of money on a headset, but I would say you want to get a headset with noise canceling capability, because it gets loud in here. I'm gonna tell you, when that engine kicks on, it gets really loud. All right, so again, remember, this is my headset, right? So these are my two plugs. So instead of plugging this fat one into the plane, you actually plug it into this receptor of this audio cord. All right? And so I'm having a hard time holding the camera and doing this, but hopefully I get it. But see how that goes in there? Click. All right, so now what I have is, I have this from my headset. See that coming down? It's in there. Now this substitutes for that fat cord, and then the skinny one from my headset still goes in there. So it looks like this. So now I plug this attached into this plug, right? Underneath there. All right, see how that's in there? And then I take this one and plug it in the skinny one. So the skinny one is always going to go directly from your headset into the plane, but the fat one is going to go into your audio cord and into the plane. All right, so that's how that works. So that's how you plug in the headset. Now you will have this plug at the end. This is what's going to go directly into your camera. Now, the reason why I have this rubber band around here is that, see this cord here, this connection? So you can actually disconnect these two. See, there's actually two pieces, and I don't want to disconnect it because I don't want to have to redo the rubber band. But you can buy this little L-shaped thing separately and this cord separately. So there's a way to keep the cost down on these cords, but I just bought it all in one swoop because I didn't want to play around. So that's why I just went to inflightcamera.com and ordered their product, you know, as a kit. And so but I put this rubber band around because sometimes it separates, and if it separates, then I lose my audio, and that sucks. All right, so anyway, so let's get this plugged into a camera. So, and I'll talk about my cameras later when we do the setup, but so I use GoPros, and so I have a 3-camera setup, and you can see that there's a number 2 on this, and I'll tell you why I put a number on this in a minute. But I have 2 of these silver ones, and then I have a Hero Black. So they're all Hero cameras, but I'll talk about the cameras later. But you know, you open this door, and now you have this open, and see that receptacle? So you got the video card. Basically just take this cord and plug it right in. All right, and so it looks like that. And so now you're ready to rock and roll. Anything that happens in the airplane goes directly into this camera. Just like that. It's really that simple. It's really just about having the equipment or this cord. And I got to tell you, there's probably a number of companies that do this now, but just make sure that you find a cord that will connect in this way, and you'll be able to do that. And in fact, now the reason why this is kind of key is you can plug this into your phone if you want to do your audio from a phone or another type of audio device. I don't do that. I go right into the camera, and the reason why I do that is because it just makes editing easier for me. I've seen other people, you know, instead of connecting it right into the camera, they'll take this cord right here and plug it into their phone, their iPhone or an Android or an audio device, and capture their audio that way. And the plus to that is if you know, you don't have to worry about your camera dying, because if this camera dies, I don't have audio, you know, and like the likelihood of a cell phone dying is probably pretty remote. Like I said, for me, I am not the best at editing footage. I'm not an expert. I don't know all of that kind of stuff. So this just makes it easier for me. So I place it right into the camera. So that's how I get the audio in the airplane. And whatever I say into my headphone, into this mic, goes directly into this camera, and that works for both me and the CFI, who's usually sitting right seat with me. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's all how it gets set up there. Right into the cord into the plug into the camera. All right, so that's the audio. All right, now let me tell you about the camera setup. Okay, so first things first, let me talk about the camera. So I have a 3 camera setup. I use 3 different GoPros. So I have this Hero Black 7 that I use. This one I usually have facing forward, and I'll show you that setup. And then I have 2 of these, and so this is my second one. So I have a 3 camera setup. Now, the most important thing about setting up your cameras in the airplane is you want to figure out what kind of angles you have. Now, it's interesting, in this plane, people have already put in some receiving ports for the camera. So you'll see that this is the port that I usually use in this plane that shoots basically back over the seats like this and to the front. And so that's when you usually see us like looking out, you know, the front there. Now, some people use this one. I don't use that port because that just looks right in my face. I put my camera over there, and I'll show you where that is. And then I put another camera over here. So depending on how you want your setup to be, that's what kind of stuff you need to do. So if you want to get this back over the headshot, then you need to have, like, if you order a GoPro, it'll come with these little 3M sticky tab things. You'll be able to put the tab up there and slide that in, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. But there's a couple different pieces of equipment that I have, and I'm actually going to take the camera out of one of them that I'm holding. Okay, so this I used to use, and this is the other thing that I got from inflight.com. This thing is actually pretty awesome because you can put this anywhere, and it has this thing where you basically push it, you suction it, and it sticks. Boom, there you go. And these arms articulate, and then once you crank it down, you could crank it down to any angle. And one of the things that's cool here is, you can just connect your camera here. And back in the day, before I started using these, I would have that arm back here. And so that's why if you look at some of my early, like my first flight video, go back to that first flight lesson and you will see that was the only camera that I had, and I had it back on this back window, and it was looking back out over our head, and I used this arm. And again, this came in the kit from inflight.com, and along with the cord came in this pack. It also came with like a prop filter, which I don't use, but it came with the kit. So, but now I no longer have to use this arm because, again, my first camera, so the one that I'm using, that I'm holding now, that I'm filming with, that camera goes right there. And so that's my first camera setup. It does not have the audio connection. It's just video. The other camera I use is this camera number 2. All right. And so this camera goes into this device here, or this thing. Now, this comes from GoPro. You're gonna get, when you buy a GoPro or whatever, you're gonna already get this cage. They already have the cage inside the box, but you'll have to buy this suction cup separately. So basically what I do, I take this camera, put it in. So this is gonna be camera number 2, because camera number 1 goes up there. Camera number 2 goes into this cage. I close this, and now let's see, this is gonna be kind of hard to do, but I'll sneak over here. And I place this camera right here like so. And then you press this, and then you lock it down, and then there you go. Whew, getting kind of hot. All right, so that's how that camera looks. And so in many of the flight videos, this is the angle where it's looking like this. So of course I'm not here, I'm in the seat, of course. But that's the angle that you get. I like that angle better than this one because I didn't like that. But I will say that if you don't want to buy one of those and attach it to the window, see if somebody has one of these on the dashboard. If not, put one up there yourself. Okay, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So that's where camera number 1 goes. You now have camera number 2. And camera number 1 is what I'm filming with now. So that's the only reason why it's not up there. And that one, you know, it's just a simple cage, right? So that's the cage that it, you know, comes with when you buy the GoPro. And basically what I do there is I just slide this in here and then put the camera in the cage. So that's where that camera be. So that's camera number 1, camera number 2. Now, let's talk about camera number 3 because that's a little bit more involved. Okay, so this camera is where I use the Hero Black, and the reason why the silvers are, you know, are just as good cameras. This was the first camera that I bought. It just, I don't know, it just shoots better to me. I don't know. I mean, they all are fantastic, you know, and the technology in these things is crazy. Like, this is the cameras that I'm using to make these videos, and I think it just floors me the amount that technology has advanced. But at any rate, so this is the camera that looks like literally like right out front. And what I've done is I bought another one of these apparatus like that one, and instead of it going across, it has another like arm that has turned the cage forward. All right, so this is what this looks like. So let's open this cage up and put the camera in, and then you lock this down, and then I take it and put the camera up here, and it's the same thing. Press it, lock it, and you're good. All right, now the thing that's important about this camera is this is where I do the audio. So remember, the audio goes in here in this camera and then connects down to the, you know, down into the airplane. All right, so that's why I had this camera here, because this is my audio and I didn't want the cord to be in the way, because back in the day I had this audio, believe it or not, back here, and then I was running it along the seat and I was always pulling it or tripping on it and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I bought another camera and then just have the audio here. And sometimes this camera goes out. I'm gonna tell you, if you have cameras in here and it's a hot day or the sun coming through here, these cameras heats up, they cut out. And so that's just the occupational hazard of making these videos. So, but that audio goes in there. Now, the one other thing that I do before I complete this whole thing is I want to tell you about another cord that I use and another connection. So that's my camera setup. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Camera 3 is the audio. One of the things that, you know, does happen is sometimes, you know, the battery will only last but so long. And so to combat that, I have a battery pack that I connect to this camera as well. Yep. So because I'm always trying to protect my audio, and I pulled the cameras down because I'm packing up, because people are probably like, what is he doing? He's not flying today. Why is he in the airplane? But I always want to try to protect this camera as much as possible, because I always want to try to protect my audio, and I don't want this battery dying. Now, of course, you can work around this if you get a battery to just last long, you don't have to worry about it. But if, you know, when I start doing cross-country flights, they're going to be longer than a couple hours and that kind of stuff, and I don't want that battery dying on me. So to combat that, the thing that's cool about this in-flight cord, and the reason why it's worth the investment, I'm not getting paid by these people. They're not sponsoring my videos or anything like that, but it's just when the equipment makes your life easier, it's just better. And plus, if you're a student pilot, the last thing you want to be worrying about when you're in here is trying to learn this stuff, and not being worried about your equipment. You want to be able to set your equipment and just forget about it. All right, so one of the things that I did was I bought another charge cord. Now this is just a regular C charger cord, you know, with some length, and then of course whatever this adapter thing is, you know, it's pretty typical that you would have in any charge cord. And so in addition to that, I bought this little battery pack, and what this is like it's a you know, a mobile charger. I use it in the house in case we lose power, all of that kind of stuff. This also has a flashlight and all this kind of stuff, so you don't have to get something this complicated, but something that definitely has some charging output capability. And so check out how easy this is. Now with this in-flight camera cord that's already in my headphones, I'm able to take this C connector and plug it into here like so. See that? So it's plugged right into this cord, and that goes into the camera. Now I'm then able to take this part of the cord and plug it into my Minimax. Plug it in like so, and now when I turn this on, not only will this capture my audio, but from here it will actually also be charging the camera. So as long as this lasts, and that's lasts for like, I think basically this lasts for like something like 20 hours or something like that. So as long as that's running, with this just one cord, it's not only capturing the audio, but it's also sending a charge to the camera. So that's why I basically bought this, because when I read that it would both capture audio and be able to continue to charge the camera, I was just like, it's a no-brainer. That's what I'm gonna get. And again, there may be other companies who do this. I'm not sure. This is just the one that I found to be the simplest. And again, you know, there's a cheaper way, but as long as it's simple. If you're a student pilot, you want simple. You don't want to be focused on doing stuff that's complicated. And unless you're like a videographer and stuff, I am not. When I started my flight training and started doing all this stuff, I started doing all of this stuff as well. You know, so I've been really learning as I go. So the simpler for me, the better. And it's been worth the investment, because it has really helped me do what I do on my channel and make the videos that you see. And so that's why these, you know, pieces of equipment, though they may be a little bit more costly and there may be a better workaround, it's cheaper. For me, it just gave me the peace of mind that I know this stuff works. And so when I get in here, I can be worried about, okay, do I understand what my speed should be when I come across the fence and I'm getting ready to round out and flare, which we all know is part of my struggle right now. So that's pretty much it. So hopefully that answers the question. And if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out, leave a comment down there, and I will respond. And I love the fact that I got this video recommendation, because that's what this channel is all about. It's really about reaching out to the aviation community, and especially newbies like me who are thinking about taking this journey or beginning this journey and trying to figure all of this stuff out. And so thank you so much for the comment and for the suggestion. If any of you like this video, please don't forget to smash the thumbs up icon under the video. And if you have yet to subscribe to the channel, I would be so honored if you would subscribe. It just shows that people really are feeling what I'm doing in terms of trying to you know, document this journey and share my aviation journey with everybody. All right, so I'm out of here. It's hot. You can see I'm sweating up a storm. But hopefully this is what the doctor ordered. All right, Russ Kid, I'm out. Peace.